What's up, XDefiant fans? It is Preach as always. So I know that it has been a couple weeks since I've made a video, but I have not completely abandoned you guys, I promise. Things have definitely been really busy with my family, with the church, different things like that. Haven't even really had time to play video games, but there are some new patch notes that dropped today, and I want to go over those. But before we do, you guys already know what to do. If you like this video, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here, and turn those bell notifications on if you want to know every time I post a new video. So let's go ahead and jump into these patch notes. There's some really interesting stuff today that just kind of has me a little bit mind blown through just sheer stupidity. So, gameplay things first. They fixed a delay in reloading, swapping weapons, or deploying devices caused by players rapidly tapping fire and ability buttons. They also, players who took advantage of a speed hack will now find themselves locked in place, which is the opposite of what they were going for. That I think is hilarious. You guys are trying to hack the game and you're getting punished for it. That's good stuff. Here's where this gets stupid though. With the factions. They said this: after coming to an agreement with the pharmaceutical company GSK, the Team Rainbow faction will hereafter be known as GS Commando. So here's what happened if you guys are unaware. There is a pharmaceutical company called GlaxoSmithKline, other words GSK, and they were upset about the use of those initials as an acronym and a name for this faction, which is really dumb because it has absolutely nothing to do with anything they're doing. It's a free game. There's no profit to be made off of using GSK. It's just absolutely stupid that the pharmaceutical company cares. If anything, I would have maybe used it if I was them as some advertising. But now any publicity they're getting out of this, in my opinion, is negative publicity. So that's pretty stupid. But, leave it to Big Pharma to make stupid decisions. Hashtag America. I love this country, but our pharmaceutical area is a joke. Sorry for some honest opinion there. Moving on to more things about the patch notes. They fixed an issue where DedSec spider bots were ignoring victims previously targeted by the deploying player. Now they'll spider hug faces new and old with equal enthusiasm, and players can once again shoot DedSec spider bots off of their own faces. Not sure why. Everybody loves spider bots. Obviously, some sarcasm there, so thankfully they brought that back. They said that was originally a bug that we could shoot them off of our faces, but it's something that we enjoyed being able to do because it helped you counter them a little bit. So I'm glad that they brought that back. They also tuned the functionality of Echelon's intel suit. Now it pulses every 4 seconds instead of every 3. So they nerfed it just a little bit. Enemies remain highlighted for 1 second instead of 2.7 seconds, so everybody pay attention. So that, in my opinion, is a huge change, almost cutting it to a third of the amount of time that you are revealed. I think that is great, honestly. Now, some abilities such as Firebomb, the Digital Ghillie Suit, and BioVita Boost weren't always activating or occasionally stopped working. They fixed that, and I had that happen to me a lot, so I'm glad that is something they fixed. They also addressed with maps. They fixed a weird issue letting players exit a Times Square spawn zone early by jumping off of a picture frame. The things that people will find to exploit in these games is honestly hilarious. So game modes. They updated the playlist screen to show all of the available game modes, which is crazy that it didn't already, but whatever. They added menu text clarifying that the bronze rank unlocks at the very first victory. So that's great, I guess. And they fixed an issue that was displaying the little padlock icon on ranked rewards despite players earning them fair and square. So you earn your stuff in ranked, now it's actually going to be available to you. Now, weapons. They tuned various weapons for gameplay balance, and here are the specs and changes for your records. So for the M4, short-range damage increased from 17 to 18. The MDR, short-range damage increased from 17 to 19. A little bit bigger buff there. The MP5 medium range increased from 13 to 14, and its headshot damage multiplier increased from 1.35 to 1.4, which is good. That gives us maybe potentially another little bit more viable SMG instead of, just sticking with the meta MP7, because MP5s are classic, and who doesn't want to use one? The MDR ADS speed improved from 300 milliseconds to 250 milliseconds. The M44 sprint out time or sprint to shoot time increased from 350 to 400 milliseconds, so they actually nerfed the sprint to shoot time on the M44 sniper rifle. The same with the TAC 50 from 600 to 625. And the same with the L115 from 550 to 575. In other words, the whole world whines and complains about snipers, and we're going to listen to them. And instead of letting the snipers have fun, we're going to listen to everybody that gripes and complains. So the sniper rifles, all three of them, got a small increase in spread also when shooting from the hip, which was really not necessary because hip fire already sucked. So people just need to quit whining about snipers so that the devs quit trying to nerf them and make it to where they're not that fun to play with. Like, I know that I mainly snipe and that's why I'm complaining about this, but I use all the other guns too, and I do not run into issues getting overly sniped. I don't. Sorry, snipers are easy to outplay, just don't suck. There's your answer. So they also improved the visual presentation of tracer fire and ammo case ejection, so both depart more accurately from their respective weapons. That's more of a visual thing. Adjusted how the aiming system detects player input so that recoil recovery returns to center rather than being thrown off by unintended player jitters in the heat of the combat. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. If you are unintendedly jittering, that sounds like that's on you, and you should have to deal with it. Fixed a glitch that allowed players to fire automatically upon respawning if they jammed on the fire and sprint buttons while dying. So, I don't recall ever jamming on the fire and sprint button at the same time, but I was definitely hitting the shoot button, the fire button a lot. And with single fire weapons, I was definitely respawning and shooting my gun. So hopefully that is something that is fixed now, because that was honestly driving me absolutely crazy. So if that's working properly, great fix, XDefiant. Thank you. Audio says they fixed graphical and audio fixes various. That was really detailed. Thanks. And then miscellaneous, they corrected the kill screen HP value from 1 to 0 of players who killed other players post-mortem via a well-placed proximity mine. Incendiary rounds are similarly persistent offensive strategies. So in other words, like if you shot someone, then you died, and then they died, whether that's from your actual weapon or from a piece of equipment, whatever it is. If you died before that person, beforehand, it was showing that as the first kill in your new life. And now that is not. That is still considered part of your old life, because that's when you technically made the kill, was while you were living, even if it took them a moment to die. So it also says previously players with pings greater than 150 milliseconds were kept waiting an unfun amount of time in matchmaking. We've improved the matchmaking parameters so their ping is assessed more frequently, which should greatly reduce matchmaking wait times. Also, players of any ping quality can now instantly jump into the practice zone where they can take out their ping frustrations in a healthy and constructive way. And also various crash fixes. So these are interesting patch notes. The biggest takeaways from this: you can now shoot the spider bot off of your face again. The whole world still hates snipers, and Big Pharma needs to get a grip, get a life, and quit trying to mess with video games, because, like, why do they care? That's super stupid. Anyway, hopefully this video was informative to you guys. If you haven't seen the patch notes, let me know your opinions about what you think about all of these changes in the comments section below. Hope you guys have missed me. I've missed you. Glad to be back for this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Preach out.